Isn't good enough anymore. What we did last week isn't good enough anymore. We want to take it to another level. But you know, we're very focused. We're very locked in. Very business-like. I thought today was better. I thought there was more juice. There was more energy. There was more emotion. And we'll look at the tape. But so far, you know, I felt good about it. Tuesdays are always hard to evaluate because you got a bunch of new schemes going in. You got a bunch of new plans. You're seeing a completely different style of defense, completely different style of offense, which tends to have the guys thinking a little bit more on Tuesday, and then each day you kind of progress and get better. So we want to do a great job early in the week, and then leave the field feeling great on Thursday, leave the field feeling great on Friday, and go into the game on Saturday with a lot of confidence.
James, how have KJ and Josh McPherson, somebody said earlier they were kind of mimicking Audrey Henderson, how have they you guys so far? How'd you settle on those guys?
Good, because they're probably the most similar. KJ and Josh, both are guys, once they get the ball in their hands, can really do something with it. He's a dynamic playmaker in space as a ball carrier in the reverse and fly sweep game, and he's also kind of in the shallow cross where they get him the ball and let him run with it, and then same thing in the return man. So I think typically I wouldn't necessarily say you have somebody that can kind of simulate what a starter, an All-American type player can bring, but I'm not saying those guys are him yet. But they've given us a really good look at practice.
You see a bigger opportunity than usual for Gesicki this game, considering what Youngstown St. did on Saturday. It's been 6 catches.
No, obviously we look at what happens on film, and that goes into our game plan and things like that. But as I think we all have known over the last year, and now the beginning of this season, Mike's going to be a big part of our offense. He's such a mismatch problem. And I think the way we use him, in the pass game and in the run game, he's always going to be a big part of our offense and what we do.
James, Coach Narduzzi talked in his press conference about his team not getting too hyped up too early in the week. Are you worried about that at all with your team?
For this game?
For this game.
Why would this game be any different? Yeah, we're going to keep it the same as we always do. The thing that I'm probably concerned about, I spend very little time being concerned about because I can't control it. It's all the stuff I see on social media right now. It's all the fans. It's stuff that I wish wasn't going on, and I want to try to insulate our players from that as much as they possibly can. And keep them focused on what we do. So that's why our approach is the way it is. That stuff I can't control it, so I don't spend too much time concerned about it because I can't change it. I can't shut them off from it. I can't control what other people do. So I don't spend a whole lot of time, focused on it. To be honest with you, it is what it is.
You that in the extra emphasis in the small snaps out we just got in practice, but it looked like the defense that you want were getting better on the offense. Is that fair to the entire practice, or how was that split when you got that good?
I'm more than happy to talk about what happened with what you just saw.
Okay.
Yeah, the stuff before. That's why you're not in, because I don't want you to know what happened before. But I think our practices are very competitive. I think all camp we've had a situation where there's periods where the defense is fighting like crazy with the offense. There's periods where the offense is fighting. It's never really one-sided. That's where I think our program has changed. In that 2-minute situation, our defense did a really good job. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, I think the practices in general have been very competitive. To be honest with you, we don't interact. The only thing you saw today was when the offense and the defense interact. We usually only do some element of a speed, ones versus ones, twos versus twos, speed work against each other for 10 minutes. That's what you saw today. The rest of the practice, it was versus scout teams.
Can you speak to the depth of the defense, though, James? You played a ton of guys in the first half even of the game. How important is that to be that deep going against the kind of teams you're going against?
Really important. It's something I think you guys know. You look at our time even back to Vanderbilt, we played a lot of guys. It's something that we really believe in terms of a way to keep guys fresh, a way to try to create as many guys that feel like they have significant roles on the team and are involved, which creates a healthy locker room. And then, the other thing obviously is that's the best way to develop players. If you're looking to develop a 2 deep and a 3 deep, the best way to do it is get those guys in the game. They have to earn it. It's not like you just put them in there, but we got a number of guys. I think a really good example, for us is probably true freshman defensive end. Help me out.
Matos?
Thank you. I think he's a really good example. We kind of talked about during camp, should we burn his red shirt or not? And he got into a situation where he was showing enough that we said by game 5, we think he's really going to have a significant role for us. So, we got him in. He's probably not ready yet, but we got him in. And the thing that I like about him is he did what he could control. He doesn't know the game plan 100% yet. He doesn't know, offensive systems as well as we would like him to yet. But what he did is he played really hard and he played reckless and he flew around from the time the ball was snapped to the whistle was blown. The rest of the stuff we can coach, but he did the things that he could control. He made some plays because of it. So, I'm really pleased with Etor, at this point. So I think he's a good example of what we want to continue doing, building depth. I think you're going to see that probably mostly on the D-line and in the secondary, because that's where we want to try to play as many guys as we possibly can, where your linebackers are more like your quarterback. They're kind of running the show and getting everybody set up and organized.
Jim, the Temple game was 2 years ago yesterday. What's the biggest thing you've learned since then, going from where you guys were then to now top 5 teams?
I could list out 1,000 things. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily what we've learned. We're just a completely different program. I don't need to kind of go back and talk about all the things in our past. We've talked about those things enough, but I don't know if it's necessarily what we've learned, but the dynamics of our program are just different.
Your center just dove over there trying to make a catch. He didn't make it, but he was close. In what ways has McGovern changed? He said today that he really learned how to watch film once he got here. What did you notice about him? He said he's more vocal, he has more what he is.
Yeah, I think, obviously went from, in the 280s to the 310s, 312s. His body, all those weight has gone up, his body fat has gone way down. He's more confident. He understands defenses more in high school. You don't really see a whole lot, especially the type of offense that he ran. I think his probably biggest improvement is in pass protection, because he probably did it more in one game here than he did in his entire high school career. So he's just, he's an example of what we're trying to do here. He's a young, talented guy who's growing. I think you're going to see kind of him really kind of get better and better and better as the season goes on. Probably more dramatic than what he did last year, just because he's gained so much experience and confidence. So, he's still got a really high ceiling. He's still got a lot of football ahead of him. I think he's got a chance to be a special football player for us.
James, Juwan Johnson spoke yesterday about kind of taking a more methodical approach day in and day out.
Who was the first?
Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson.
Is that something that you emphasized to him over the offseason? Is that something you dictated, or did he just do that on his own? And how do you think that's benefited him?
No, I didn't talk to him specifically about that. Juwan's got a lot of resources. Juwan is a guy that is going to ask a lot of questions. He's going to try to grow and mature in as many areas as he possibly can. He's a guy that understands what his strengths and what his weaknesses are and wants to work on them. I think Chris Godwin has had a significant impact on Juwan. I think Juwan's brother in the NFL, who played for 6 years, I think he maybe recently got cut, but played for 6 years in the NFL. He's been a big resource for him. I think Coach Gaddis has been a big resource for him. So he's a guy that from the day he showed up on campus, very mature, and used all those resources to his benefit.
Coach, the mental aspect of the game, some would argue, is the most important thing. And for someone like Dashawn, who said it took him a while to let go last year of the Pitts game and the drop that he had at the end of the game, how do you get him and other players like that to let go of something like that and get their mindset straight for this next matchup?
Well, I think you can talk about it, but to be honest with you, guys have to go through some adversity in their career. I would say you talk about Mike Gesicki. I think he's another guy like that. You can mention a bunch of guys. There's guys going through it right now. You know, and to be honest with you, you can see other people go through it, but until you go through it yourself, you don't really kind of understand. So, you know, I think adversity is a positive thing in our program. I think adversity is a positive in our guys' individual lives because, you know, that's what you're going to be dealing with the rest of your life. Some form of adversity, and how you handle that is really going to dictate how successful you are in football, you know, and in life. So I think, you know, in the long run, that's going to help Dashawn Hamilton on the field and in life. And I'd say the same thing for a number of our guys. I know it's really helped Mike.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.